Yeah, welcome back, YouTube. I don't know, this camera, by the time I got it turned on, I'd already had the fish to the boat. Been a little while since I've been fishing. I figured I'd get down here and try them today. The wind ain't blowing quite as hard as what it's been blowing, but we could give them a try. We'll keep just a few. See what we can do. Try to catch them any way we can catch them today. Oh, look, a cork. First cork of the season. I must have collected 25 of these things last year. A little small bass. You was trying to be a little fella. You was sure giving it a hard time there. Little tiny fella. Finally a little small brim. Something's cut this one up. Cut you up pretty good there, fella. Whatever it was. Well, little chump knockers is biting. Pine tree has a lot of stump knockers. You can catch these things on the brim buster with the cork, with the cricket, all day long. Another stump knocker. They don't get much bigger than this. Spotted sunfish, what the original name is, but they sweet eating little fish. My brother used to love them. Said they tasted good and sweet. But that's just a phrase, sweet eating little fish, but in other words, nice eating, tasty. Okay. Just tied a switch to come in YouTube. We switched over to fishing down on the bottom with the night crawler. Lead lining, straight lining, whichever one you want to call it. With a vintage 301 Mitchell reel. So we could try them like that since this water rose back up and this tide's coming in. This is the old reel here. One of my subscribers out of Texas has sent me. We'll see what we can do. There you go, good size Molly. But we gotta let you grow to get bigger. Oh, and you're a little bit bigger. Take a few of y'all home to eat. Weekend, fry y'all up some. And that's the thing with these mollies, you can catch sometimes 4 or 5 fish off of one piece of night crawler. Yeah, those small molly. I like to fish with these old vintage reels and stuff. Sometimes it kind of gives you a feel of how our dads and granddads used to use stuff that they fish with. All right. Let's heard some of them fish popping on them caterpillars that's falling on the water. It's got the old little jewel brim buster out. I shallowed it up to about a foot with the cork, and we could try them that way for a little while. Brim whistling that line on this brim buster. Things are fun to fight on a brim buster. They can run with it and whistle that line. So that's why they ain't chasing that beetle spin. The caterpillars are too easy for them to pick off the top, and they ain't got to chase it. See if we can catch us a few more like that. That's a shell cracker here. I may come tomorrow and bring some crickets with the brim buster. See what we can do with that. Shell cracker, I wanted to make a run with it. This is the way that I grew up catching fish, except had a cane pole. Caught them like this, and caught them with a cane pole fishing on the bottom lead lining like I was doing earlier. And this one sure hung that hook in his mouth good. These shell crackers, they can pull now. There we go, finally got it. Little stump knock it back that didn't there. Well, YouTube, we've come down here this morning with the crickets. The sea mem I was telling you yesterday evening. I wanted to get back down here and try to catch this tide low and try them with the crickets with the brim buster and cork. And maybe they might be just could do a little something today, but we'll see. Small brim here. Tide, when I first got down here, just started going out. And what I'm hoping is if it goes out, that them fish come out them woods and as the water drops down. I don't hear them popping yet like they was yesterday. We pull the old warmouth out of there. What would you be in there, fella? On these lily pads. Oh shoot, I don't know what that was. Yeah, hand-sized shell cracker. Like a nice fish there. Got the line whistling, whatever it is. Oh, Molly. I mean, I'm Molly. That's a good pound or a pound and a half Molly there. A lot of times you ever see them fish sink that cork and just sit there with it. Usually it's a nice fish. Good big Molly. Yeah, stump knocker. Well, we've done it now. We hooked into a mudfish on this little jewel brim buster. And I don't know if we could be able to handle this thing or not. We can keep him from getting the line straight. Keep a bow in it. little gold hook, I can't give him no release, and he liable to straighten it. Aggravating thing. Trying to keep a bow in the brim busters, trying not to let him get it straightened out. Get everything out the way, because if I get him in this dip net, he could get in here. He'll be bent that hook all up in there. Turn the crickets over. Aggravating buzzard you. Well, at least you slung the hook out if you didn't straighten it. That's why I used to keep my pipe in here to give these things attitude adjustment. But didn't want nobody complaining on YouTube about me hitting them in the head. Hand size brim here. Good eating size. Might have a fish fry this weekend. I'll keep you. Yeah. Another one of these spotted sunfishes. Yeah, hand size brim. Them shell crackers, them things can pull like a mudfish when they get on there. Boy. They're fun to catch, but I'd rather eat a brim. But these things are fun now. Water's starting to get down a little bit, and they starting to bite some. Catching a bunch of fish, but a lot of them little hand-sized brim. And another shell cracker. Mr. Altman, if you're watching, the fish is starting to bite. Water and the tide's starting to work down here at Pine Tree. I didn't get time to get my camera turned on. Time as that and hit the water, he sailed on that thing. Nice molly. Morgan, warmouth, goggle eye, whatever you want to call it. They have so many different names. Tell you, these shell crackers, these things, they can pull now. They're fun to catch. Just got it hung right in the hard part of his mouth. There we got a brim big enough to keep him. Don't don't understand the big brim not biting today. But we caught some nice shell crackers and warmouth. I ain't fishing but about a foot deep today because them fish was popping the top of the water yesterday after them caterpillars. So I'm fishing shallow. If I'm fishing like this, I usually fish about 2.5 foot deep. But they biting shallow today. Come here, Molly. YouTube, we come up a creek. I want to try these smallmouth up in here. I used to come up in here when I was a teenager. And I'd catch smallmouth all along this creek. It's been years since I've been in here and fished them on the cricket with the brim buster. See, there's still some in here. YouTube, the tide has turned to come in. I got down here and got to fish with the cricket some. It's probably been a few years since I fished with a cricket. But we got down here and I've enjoyed it. It's been a nice day. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you subscribing. Till the next time, we'll catch you again, YouTube.